Hello, today we're talking to Adam White, Director of Chartered Landscape Architects, Davies White Limited. Hello Adam.
Hello there, Sue, and thanks for inviting me along today.
Well, let's have a look at your website, shall we? It looks like you do some interesting work, Adam. I notice you've won an RHS Gold Medal and a BBC People's Choice Award. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
So typically, what kind of clients does your practice work with?
Well, we work with a broad range of clients, and traditionally it's been public sector, but in recent years there's been other organisations such as the National Trust, RSPB, NHS, Forestry Commission, Royal Parks, and the historic Royal Palaces.
So how does having these sort of high-profile clients and public sector clients impact on the way you look for products and services?
Well, our clients, particularly the public sector, they don't like to take risks and they do want innovation. And I'm often pointing out to them that innovation comes with risk. So what we have to do then is reassure them that our subcontractors are competent and that materials and products we're specifying are tried and tested.
Now we're going to talk about a project you're working on for Coventry City Council today. Tell us about that.
Oh yes, that's an exciting project, which is Swanswell Park in Coventry. It's right in the city centre there. And the brief here was to develop a master plan for the park, including the restoration of a large island which sits right in the centre of the lake in the park. Now, it currently suffers from a lot of antisocial behaviour and has had very little capital investment in recent years. So our proposals, well, they include a new cut stone column with cast iron railings, which are going to be based on an original detail, a new natural play area, upgraded footpaths, signage and furniture, enhanced tree and shrub planting, and finally, as I've mentioned a bit earlier, the restored island in the centre of the lake. Now, we're currently at the outline design stage, and subject to planning permission, we hope to have the works on site and completed by spring next year.
So you'll be looking for quite a large range of products then, but also some specialists to help you with the island.
Exactly, yes. This project's required a few specialists to help out, particularly around the pond and the island. I mean, landscape design uses so many different materials and products, and our good landscape architect knows where to find those specialists. At Davies White, we've got our own database of consultants, but when it came to the lake, we needed to find some research and some experts to talk to. I mean, it was essential that our ideas for the island not only looked aesthetically pleasing, but also addressed practical issues like bank erosion, creating habitats for the nesting birds, and providing access to the island for the park rangers. And that's where we turned to our trusty External Works directory.
Now you've been using external works for a long time, haven't you, Adam?
Yes, about 20 years now, and this is where I'm probably going to make myself sound a little bit old. We were using it in the days before we even had internet access in the office. We'd use the External Works directory as our main source of finding products and information and suppliers. I'd say it was the directory was, well, the Google of the day, and I think you'll find most landscape architects have got 2 or 3 copies of the directory on their shelves. I make a point of always ordering an extra copy for our graduate landscape architect because it's a great reference document for when you're starting work. It's that place you can go to where you know you'll get a real broad brush of ideas and suppliers within the industry. But we still use the directory as our first port of call today, and it's nice to flick through it and look at the pages and get an instant snapshot and a taste of what's out there before we look at the website.
So how do you combine using the hard copy directory and the ESI.info website?
Right, well, we like the fact that with the directory that the subject index is right at the front and then the name suppliers are at the rear. It's really well set out and very clear. So we might look no further than the subject index, find a company we're aware of and then phone them up. On the other hand, we might go online and do a little bit more search and have a look around and find out what's out there, because quite often there's new things arriving within our industry that we're not aware of.
So here's the ESI.info website, which is the online source of dedicated product information for designers, and it's got thousands of products, manufacturers and service providers, and of course it's regularly updated all the time with new information. It's also the online home of External Works, which you've used so many times for so many years in hard copy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, the website helps us become familiar with the companies and we can quickly check them out before we actually even get in touch with them. We can also review the various case studies. We have found that really useful with the online version. And the website also, it's almost like it's done some kind of its own vetting process. So it presents all the essential facts, all in the same format. So you might be looking for self-binding gravel, bridges, play equipment, or street lighting. It's all set out clearly the same on each page.
That's great. So let's see how it worked with this project we're discussing.
Well, I mean, this one, we were looking for a specialist company that had skills in lake and pond restoration. And we found 3 companies. The first one we looked at was Miles Waterscapes.
Okay, let's look for them then. There they are.
Aha.
Let's have a look at their company page. Yes. There we go, and we can see that they do watercourse and lake engineering here.
Exactly.
Bank protection as part of that too.
Yes, exactly. And we were looking for an established company and one with a good track record so they could take our concept designs and develop them through to the construction phase. And we could instantly see that this company have done some great projects which would really help.
So they look like they know what they're doing.
Yes, exactly. We could see the scale and complexity of the work they've delivered to date. And then it was really simple for us using the command online to turn this into PDF information and send it direct over to our client at the council for their approval to approach them, to work with them.
Okay, so we went to their company profile. Yep. And there's a PDF of their company profile.
And we could just ping that over to the client.
Okay. Let's save this page to MyESI before we move on, and then you can come back to it easily later. By registering on the site, ESI.info will remember you, and then you can save your information for future use. So I'm going to make a new folder, and we're going to call it Pond and Gardens. And there we can see that we've added Miles Waterscapes Limited to that.
That's great. I mean, we've done that on 5 or 6 different projects now where we've created a folder online and the project team have access to it so they can drop in information as we're developing the concept design through. So it's all in the same location. It's a really handy tool to have.
That's great. Let's have a look for another company.
Okay, well, the other one we approached on the same project as well was we were looking for architectural metalwork and we found a company called Hammer and Tongs. So if you search, we searched for architectural metalwork and I think it was one of the many companies that came up.
There they are.
Ah, there you go.
Now, what was this company going to be doing for you?
Well, we were looking for a company that could create new park railings that will match the existing length we found of Victorian railings down there. And this was exactly the sort of company. It was a small company and it had absolutely caught our imagination. I mean, the images were really important on this page as well.
Yes, that's interesting. They give you the impression of a hands-on company, don't they? Let's save this company to the folder too. There we go. Okay, so what's the next company?
Well, the next company is called CED and they're an aggregate company. We've used them before on a number of projects where they've provided glacial boulders for play areas. But what we were curious to find was, do they do stone paving that could tie in with the new entrances we were designing?
Right, and down here we can see on their company profile, there are the stones and boulders. And yes, they do stone paving.
So there we are, and what we were now looking for was a sandstone paving. So we looked on the page, and sure enough, top right.
Oh, right. Let's choose that one and add that to our project folder as well.
Exactly.
Now, what's the last company we're going to look at today?
Well, the last company is Palmstead Tree and Plant Nursery. Now, we've used Palmstead before. We used them when we were doing our RHS Medal show garden back in 2007, and we know they offer excellent service and high quality plants. So while I was on the site, we had a look to see if they were there, and sure enough they were there, and there were pictures of their key contact personnel that worked for them. So I sent this page via using a web link, I cut and pasted it into an email, and I also had a go at the tweeting, and I've just tweeted it to thousand or so followers that we have at Davies White. So it was very useful and functional tool to use on that project.
That's very useful. So you can send a tweet there directly from the page as well.
Yeah.
And let's save them onto your project folder as well. So now we have a collection here of different products and services that you've found on ESI.info. What do you do next, Adam?
Well, as the project manager, I'd share that information with our consultants in our team, and some projects that there can be quite a few of them, and then also share it with the client as well. It's a great tool to do.
So do you send them links to the relevant pages?
Yes, having the information all in one place enables to share it really quickly. So sending web links is the most efficient way I've found doing it, and it looks really professional, and it's certainly much easier to navigate instead of working your way around lots of different websites.
Excellent. And then when you're happy with the credibility of the companies, then do you ring them up next?
Yeah, we might arrange a meeting with their sales rep or give them a call, and quite often ask for samples to be sent over to us and get as much detail out of them so we can then visit them on site, or even visit some of their local sites if they've already delivered similar projects in our area.
And I imagine the process of getting client approval on products can be quite time consuming when you're working with a local authority or similar.
Yeah, exactly. We send the information to the client, and then they might need to circulate it to their local councillors, and they might need to circulate it to their parish councillors. So it can be quite a long process before we actually get a thumbs up on a product.
And so sending them a group of links to web pages is probably much better than hard copy or PDF documents, I should imagine.
Certainly, and it frustrates me, and it probably frustrates a lot of people, is when you get lots of emails with huge attachments on them. If you can just send an email where it's got a direct link to a website, it's far more professional and stops cluttering up the server box as well. And with all the information on the ESI website in a standard format and layout, as I mentioned earlier, it's so much easier for people to navigate and share and understand.
It's great. So this sharing of information via email and the web links must save the public sector an awful lot of paper then.
Very true, very true.
So in conclusion, would you say that ESI.info and external works helps you work more effectively with public sector clients?
I'd certainly say so. I think, with more and more people using smartphones and tablets and working remotely on laptops, being able to send a web link to the website is total common sense. The website's familiar. It hasn't lost the charm and structure of the directory, which I'm so familiar with, and it complements the directory rather than replaces it, acting as a kind of, a finger post to a wealth of online information that's all in one place. And I really would advise, as an independent person, saying to all the listeners, if they haven't, I'd advise them to register on site and have a good look around.
Well, thanks very much for your time today, Adam. Look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sue. Hopefully this has been beneficial to the listeners. Cheers.